welcome to Activity Quest, the podcast that's packed with stuff to do. In this week's episode, Adam's going stateside and exploring a Butterfly Pavilion, the first ever insect zoo in the US. My name's Bex. Every week we go up and down the country on the quest for something epic. Now, this week we're actually going international because Adam's off to the United States to explore Butterfly Pavilion. It's an insect zoo full of butterflies, but also some sea creatures and loads more.
My name is Shiran Hershkovich and I am Butterfly Pavilion's lepidopterist or butterfly scientist. Butterfly Pavilion is an invertebrate zoo and research center. So we have invertebrates from all over the world here in the mountains of Colorado, and we love showcasing how beautiful they are, how interesting they are, and how important they are for our survival. So we have hundreds of animals that work as ambassadors to showcase that very important message, and of course some very fun activities to get people comfortable with bugs.
Amazing. Shall we wander in through?
Let's do it.
You lead the way. Tell us where we're going.
So this is our first exhibit room. And this one is focused on all sorts of invertebrates that live on land. So we have spiders and millipedes and beetles. Spiders, everybody's favorite, right? So cute, so cuddly. And this exhibit really helps us showcase all of those different colors that they can be and all of the different shapes they can have and how cool they move around and explore the world.
Oh my God. These stick insects?
These are one of the largest stick insect species, and just like many others of their kind, their whole thing is to be invisible. So they really want to be invisible to the world around them. It's how they survive and how they have survived for millions of years as a species. So they try to look like a stick or a leaf, and they're pretty good at it. You know, they look pretty invisible.
And so just to describe what we're looking at, it's sort of a fish tank, but there's no water in it. There's a piece of tree, and we've got these giant stick insects. They're probably the size of my hands, maybe even slightly bigger. There's sort of a bright green one. And how many have you got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 maybe?
6, I see one in the back.
They're playing hide and seek.
And yeah, the more you look, the more you will see. They're quite good at hiding out. And the females, the girls, are gonna be the bright green, really large one. And it's the boys that are gonna be that brown, sticky shape, smaller. It's really girl power here in bug world.
From there, we literally turned the corner and saw this amazing beehive.
I always like to point this out as well. This is our beehive. So here we have hundreds of hardworking bees inside their home, and we have a great view into them. So they're buzzing and moving and flying. They're totally free to roam wherever they want, and they always come back to their home. So right now, in the last days of fall, there's still some nectar out there for them, some blooms for them to explore. So they are flying out quite far, coming back whenever they want. So they're quite independent little things, and they do quite well at taking care of themselves.
Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Adam, Butterfly Pavilion is in Colorado. It's a 9.5-hour flight away. I'm never going to go. But you don't necessarily have to in order to understand and appreciate the work that they do. That honey is bottled. They sell it in the gift shop, and a portion of that money goes to Tanzania, which is in Africa, where they solve an amazing problem. Because there's a community of people out there that struggle with elephants trampling their homes. They also trample crops. They basically get in the way. An elephant is a pretty big creature, right? And so what Butterfly Pavilion help do is they help build fences made out of bees. And when an elephant gets too close, a bee will sting its bottom, it'll turn, and it won't interrupt the day-to-day life of this village. It's amazing. It means that more elephants survive because people in the villages don't have to take measures to protect themselves. And all of this comes from a zoo about bugs in the middle of the United States of America.
Butterfly Pavilion is the first association of zoos and aquariums, standalone nonprofit invertebrate zoo in the world. And what that means is that we are the protectors and the educators, the science and researchers to protect, conserve, and share the wonders of invertebrates, which are animals without backbones, everything from an octopus to a bee to a spider to a butterfly. And they make up 97% of all animal species on Earth, and they're the foundation of all species on Earth. So without them, we wouldn't survive. So we have a zoo experience, which has an aquatic exhibit. It has a terrestrial where we have beetles and spiders and even sometimes cockroaches. And then we also have our butterfly conservatory, which is amazing with nearly 2,000 butterflies encapsulating 80 different species that we ship in from sustainable farms all around the world. And then we also have our play area and our rotating exhibit, which features different cultures and animals from different cultures, where we continue to rotate what the experience is like there. And our fifth exhibit is the outdoors, which is our discovery gardens, and that's where you can see native butterflies and bees and all the little creatures that could even be found in somebody's backyard.
Okay, after the bees, we sort of wandered through an aquatic section.
Some of them look like brains.
Yes.
Yeah. There's one that looks like brains. So this one looks like it's a radioactive brain. It's like neon green.
But we all know why we're really here. It's called Butterfly Pavilion. We're here to see some butterflies.
Okay, so we're about to enter, not that I'm biased at all, but the best room in the building, the butterfly room. Follow me. All right, welcome.
Wow.
Okay, welcome to Wings of the Tropics. In here we have recreated the rainforest for our 2,000 butterflies that are hanging out in this room.
We're standing in front of a case that has a ton of cocoons, chrysalises, what are they called?
So these are chrysalises. We do have a few cocoons, and these are words that may often get mixed up. So if we are talking about cocoons, we're talking about moths. And if we're talking about chrysalis, then we're talking about butterflies.
And am I right in thinking you can actually watch this cabinet online?
Yes.
Which I have spent many hours doing.
Yeah. So one of the cool things here is that every day we get to see butterflies coming out of the chrysalis and expanding their wings for the very first time. So we get to see the first flight of a butterfly, which is really special. I have seen it every day almost for almost 5 years, and I'm never tired of it because it's so magical.
Talk me through that process. So a butterfly emerges from one of these chrysalises. In fact, there's one that looks like it's maybe just come out up in the corner over here.
Yeah, so her wings are not fully dry. You can see that they're almost at an angle, and it's because they have to wait anywhere between 30 minutes to a couple of hours, depending on how big they are, to be ready to fly. So it's quite a vulnerable stage for them. It would be really scary out there in a forest where you can't move. But here, you know, they're super safe, so they're having a great time. And when we receive our chrysalis from butterfly farms from all over the world, these butterflies are doing something really special. Inside there, they are moving their cells around to rebuild themselves from a caterpillar, so a chunky, wormy looking animal, into one of the most beautiful things in nature, a butterfly with spectacular blues and yellows and reds in their wings. So that takes quite a lot of effort, and it's one of the most impressive phenomenon in nature. And we get to see it here happen live in front of our eyes.
This is one of the most wild things to me, that a caterpillar basically turns into like butterfly soup inside and entirely rearranges itself to become something entirely different.
They are re-establishing themselves with instructions that they had ever since they were first laid as tiny little eggs. So since they were tiny, tiny little eggs, smaller than my fingernail, they already had instructions and building blocks to build a butterfly. So it's such a unique process. There's really nothing else like it out in nature, and it's really awesome to be able to share that with so many visitors every year. In fact to anybody listening that they could check out our website, butterflies.org. So that's quite easy to remember. And you can see a live camera that shows you butterflies coming out of their chrysalis. So it is a really fun activity to be able to see the magic of metamorphosis right from the comfort of your home.
For me, I think it is so special because it's an invertebrate zoo. And there's these small creatures that rule our world, and a lot of people don't know much about them. You know, sometimes they're seen as pests or intruders, where actually when we see guests come to our zoo and they're able to interact, and I can watch that, the engagement and oftentimes the magic and the transformation from seeing a tarantula up close and seeing it that has little, personalities. Sometimes they're even afraid of a cricket that we feed them. And seeing from young toddlers to an older generation, be able to understand more about these creatures where they begin to appreciate them. And myself, I came from Washington, D.C., and I'm constantly asking questions because there's so much that we don't know. And that's also the beauty of Butterfly Pavilion, is that we're not just a place to come to and experience firsthand these incredible, what we call tiny giants, but also to learn about all the work that we're doing out in the world, from Tanzania to Mexico to safeguard the monarch migration, to Sumatra, where we have a sustainable butterfly farm that we created, to what we're doing within the community, researching and breeding fireflies and dragonflies, and we even have a jellyfish breeding program. So seeing people where they can learn about them, appreciate them, engage with them, and not be so fearful, and see that they have a purpose, all of that is so exciting for me. It just we have so much more. It's like the last frontier of science is invertebrates. And it's exciting to be part of that and include the community and visitors from around the world to engage and be excited and find their own ways to conserve and protect these important animals.
This is magical.
It's
How do you not
fun.
spend all day in here?
Well, sometimes I do.
Do you? Yeah. I bet. I would as well.
She's not traveling the world.
So this is a Helena birdwing that has traveled all the way from Indonesia. And in Indonesia, we work with conservation groups and community groups to build a more sustainable future in one of the most endangered rainforests in the world. So it's one of the last places you can see orangutans in the wild. And we are honored that they visit our butterfly farm and benefit from that habitat. So it's a really cool partnership, very special place. And every time I see these butterflies, I think of how special the rainforest is and how this place here at Butterfly Pavilion helps us support rainforests around the world.
So the space that we're now in is obviously designed to, I guess, mimic sort of like a tropical region.
Yes.
So you must have a team of people here that work very hard to make it both pretty to look at, but also provide tons of food for the butterflies that are here.
Yeah, it takes a dedicated village to be able to rebuild the rainforest here at Butterfly Pavilion. So we have an incredible team of horticulturalists and animal care team and the operations and facilities team to keep this warm and cozy even in the depths of Colorado winter, where it gets very, very cold. So it's definitely a big effort to be able to have a happy, healthy home for our butterflies.
Lots of people probably think you have the coolest job in the world.
It's pretty cool.
What did you do to get to where you are today?
So my degree at university is molecular biology, which sounds really fancy, but it's there's so many different paths you can take to work in conservation in such a multidisciplinary field. So I always recommend anybody that wants to be a part of the science community. It really is for everybody, and especially now there's so many ways of getting involved that don't necessarily require the most traditional of paths. So everybody can make a difference in conservation these days.
Visit butterflies.org. It has not only information about all our exhibits online, but all of our local and global projects, and also education, how you could get involved, learn more about how you can protect pollinators, which are critical for our food production. So there's a lot of really in-depth knowledge put into the website, and also take back some of those practices, to your own country or your own neighborhood or backyard. But you can learn about our animals there, also see some live cams of our chrysalis chamber where the butterflies are emerging at their first day as a butterfly. So it's incredibly incredible place with a huge wealth of knowledge, and it's www.butterflies.org. Or if you're in the area, you could come and get a ticket, either online in advance through our ticket processing, or come right to our doors and buy a ticket when you enter our doorways.
You can find out for more by searching for Butterfly Pavilion. How cool was that? I'm Bex, and this has been a podcast from the UK's children's radio station, Fun Kids. Listen to me on your DAB digital radio, online, on the free Fun Kids mobile app, and on your smart speaker. Just say, play Fun Kids every weekday from 4 p.m. See you soon.